い闇の中で密かに時は流れて浅い眠りの中遠くに君の微笑み見失った心の旅路 Where are you going? When are you coming home? 光あふれる未来求めて Oh, where are you going? When are you coming home? 時の流れ乗り越えこの空駆け抜けこの手で作る新しい世界と愛の歌
Welcome, everyone, once again to the Orgussinest time in the whole universe. The dimension is broken. We're all single. That's not true. I have a girlfriend. Going to do an illegal aside before the podcast has even begun. I found out just today my girlfriend did not listen to the last podcast we did, but instead searched the word girlfriend through the transcript to find one result. So now she'll find another. That's my fun fact. And introducing my co-host with a fun fact of her own, Mel.
Hi, I'm just here really confused. I think I see over there Shane and I recording the first episode of this podcast series, and I think I'm gonna take out a gun for some reason.
Who's that guy? Who's that guy over there? Fuck you, buddy. Fuck you, buddy. Hey, fuck you. I'm pulling out my gun. I don't have a gun. You have a gun?
I've been dimensionally transferred to the wrong place, and now there's two people with guns trained on me. Help!
Wait a minute. Yeah, well, that person over there doesn't have any guns at all. Let's all four of them shoot him.
Oh no!
I think Manny's sounding different than before.
Oh god, yeah, it's new Manny. Hi there. What's up, Sanga? How's it going? Back again.
Ahoy there! Yeah, I'm pretty good. How about you guys?
Good.
All right. This will be your first time on my audio feed. So say hello to all the Ultraman people.
Ahoy, Ultraman peoples!
Yeah, what's going on? What's your fun fact? Give us your fun fact, please.
My fun fact is that I crammed a lot of these episodes yesterday before we recorded, so...
I tried harder to spread them out.
I watched like 3 this morning, I feel like, and then I did a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, it's done.
I think I watched like the last 4 yesterday, but I did watch the others like spread out across. So...
Yeah, so if you're just joining us, probably a weird place to start, but whatever. We are doing a fun little, mid-season-ish break thing. Although it's now Mel's doing their own season now concurrently.
Yeah, our break ended.
And we're still doing this.
Our break ended like before we put out the second episode.
Where we're watching Orguss, the second one of the Super Dimension trilogy right after Macross. And now we're on our final stretch of it before we get into the OVA stuff. Episodes, 25 to 35?
Yep, the end of the show.
Yes, so some nice episodes there. And then joining us this time, just because, it's he's already seen it. Get friend of the pod. Like I said, my pod, acquaintance of Mel's pod I just met. Sanga. So because
Orguss expert.
How's it feel, Orguss expert? You excited to talk about Orguss?
Hell yeah! It's real weird because like Orguss is one of those I really love, but I can never sell it to anyone or recommend it to anyone because it's got capital P problems. Like
this is how I feel about Monogatari, except I will at least think that Monogatari is good versus mid.
How I feel about Homestuck, which is a bad place to be. The most wrong I know I am. My friends have not tried. I was curious, by the way. So you mentioned earlier, what happened with the interaction with the creator of Homestuck, Andrew Hussey? Was it like did you just say hi?
Okay, yeah. So this is referencing, for context, a conversation in the abnormal mapping server because someone was talking about Homestuck in the special channel for Range Touch because of their podcast. Homestuck Made This World, and I just made an anecdote of like when I was in high school, because I was in high school when Homestuck came out. It was like it came out in grade 9 for me, and so in high school I was like a fan at the time with some of my friends, and there was in downtown Toronto there was like a mini comic. I want to say con, but it was like a mini comic event featuring a bunch of like webcomic guys, including Andrew Hussey, and I think his name is Chris Hastings, the guy who did Dr. Ninja. There's more guys, but those are the two I interacted with. And I forget specifics, but I think I went to Hussey and was like, I think I wanted to get like he's saying he could do a science sketch, and I think I very nervously asked him for one, and I think he for some reason was like he said he couldn't or he was out or kind of thing like that. But like I think I gave him like a random piece of paper that he just signed, and he just felt he came across as really cold in that moment. And then I go over to the Dr. Ninja guy table where he's selling like print form books of his comics, and I was like, "Can I get a signed copy of that?" And he was like really nice, yeah, thank you. And it just left me with a different impression. Like, oh yeah, I like one of these guys more than the other. And like maybe that is unfair of me in hindsight, because in hindsight I'm also thinking about, well, Andrew Hussey does have to deal with Homestuck fans. There was a guy who brought like a bucket to get signed there, so you know.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
So you know what? I shouldn't judge Hussey so much, because you know he knows what he hath wrought, and there are limits to what he shall suffer because. But it is an interesting anecdote. But probably speaking though, and you know it's been forever since I've touched webcomics, because you know my webcomic / Newgrounds era was like middle school / early high school before I joined like Tumblr and got into anime, because that's kind of like where the trade over happened. It was like early half of high school I was like really into webcomics and like Newgrounds animations and stuff like that, and then like second half of high school I became an anime fan and would join Tumblr, and that's kind of where like a divide happened.
I mean, that makes sense and checks out, because like I remember early internet's kind of dog shit, and the best you can get on it are webcomics and Flash animations.
Yep.
And then one day the internet gets real good, and suddenly you can just download all episodes. So it's like, yeah, away we go.
Yeah, Flash dying did suck though. But yeah, I think the point I was gonna make was like, probably speaking, Dr. McNinja is a better comic than Home. Less important, but quality-wise, probably better. I haven't touched it in forever though. There's probably still problems.
Yeah, I remember. I think like at the time I was reading Homestuck, I tried it. I think it was just kind of a gag comic, and I was like, oh, I don't really. And now,
yeah,
it is the year 2024, and no one is getting into Dr. McNinja at this
no
age.
one.
Yeah, no one's out there making Dr. McNinja Made This World, because it did not. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think the guy like went on to do Deadpool or Gwenpool, so good for him.
Really, that's a Gwenpool writer.
One of them probably. Let me look him up.
Okay, well, we should maybe not. Well, I really like Gwenpool.
I will do this while you guys talk about that.
Well, that is true. Let's see, Christopher Hastings.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, all right. You know what? Maybe I should go back, because the Unbelievable Gwenpool is a fantastic, great comic. So you know what? I'm sorry for insulting your. I was not familiar with your game, or rather, I was familiar with your game, but did not realize I was a common issue there. Sorry, what's up with you? What have you been up to lately? What's your other than rewatching this show for this podcast? What have you been into?
Oh, not much. Mainly just been working on my own projects, and hey, don't make a video game from scratch. It takes too long. It's too much work.
I'd like to do game dev, but I'm like intimidated to start, even though like I have ideas in my head for like 10 years. I need them to be out of my head.
Yeah. And it's like, look, I can do it, but it's gonna take so much time. Like the secret with video games is they're just state machines, and state machines is just flowcharts. And if you can make a flowchart, you can make a video game, so that's fine. Yeah. It's mainly just art stuff that takes forever.
Sounds like you need an idea person. Mel can just give you ideas, and then you can make them a reality. Huh?
I mean, I got the ideas. The problem is scope creep. Scope creep's the killer, because you have ideas, and then you have more ideas, and suddenly there's too many ideas.
That's me. Like I have like a billion ideas, because I keep making ideas in my head, and then none of them are really fleshed out in a weird way, and I don't feel confident in any of them. And I think it's like I need to do the thing where I actually put it to paper and like plan a thing out and get working on it, because otherwise it's just gonna be a mess forever.
Yeah, it's like if it doesn't fit in the dev doc, it's probably too big.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You watch
yeah.
anything, Mel?
I mean, a bunch of stuff there's a bunch of stuff I talked about on this episode of Ultra Q, which will be out before this. But yeah, I don't know. New shows are starting. There's a cute magical girl show called Acro Trip, which started, that I'm watching with a friend, about like kind of a loner girl who visits her grandfather's town, and she's kind of like the one girl who's like, I've never been like in one place long enough, so I have no real attachments. But her grandfather's town has a magical girl there, and she's like, damn, that's cool. Can I live here? And so she moves in with her grandfather, because she's still a loner, but she's the magic girl's biggest fan. But through weird circumstance, she ends up becoming allied with the magic girl's arch nemesis because he's a loser, and he's like, listen, you're her fan, which means you want to see her fight good. So if you help me, you'll make the fights better. And then use. And it's only
that sounds great.
I think the third episode just came out today. I haven't seen it yet, but yeah, the first episode is kind of a bit like slow and not. It's okay, but like the second episode gets like it starts to get goofier. It should be good. I was looking forward to it because apparently it's like the first like magic girl slash like magic girl slash manga for girls that's gotten an anime adaptation in like over a decade, which is crazy. So
yeah, no, that's wild. Like,
Huh.
surely there's been more. Surely.
Yeah, like in mid-aughts you got a lot of stuff like Shugokara and Tokyo Mew, for instance. But yeah, there's just been a dearth of them for like so long, longer than you realize.
Mike does a currently running. He's directing a live action magical girl show, like, and has been doing so for the last few years. There.
What show is it?
Hey.
It's a franchise. Takeshi Miike. So it's not anime because it's Toku.
Is it Girls X Heroine?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah. I watched a bit of that, but I haven't watched a lot of it. I've heard it's good. But it is like a weird jump to have to make for some reason, because like it's Toku, but like the protagonists are like children actors, and so it's kind of a weird like jump. Like obviously Sentai and Rider are like kids shows, but it's easier to get into them because the protagonists are adults, and like Pikachu's animated. So there's sort of a weird gap where it's like, well, I have to watch this. I know the show's for kids, like other shows for kids I watch, but also because they're like a live action, it feels weirder.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference. Sometimes a show for 5-year-olds, so I can watch that. Girls Like Heroine is a show for like maybe literal babies, like for preschoolers, which is a little low.
I mean, I am a Precure fan, which is obviously still like a show for very tiny children, but
I've seen Precure, but I've seen clips from it, and I don't know. I just I think the age gap's a little bit too much for me for Magical X Heroine. Shame, because I like Mike a lot, and I was like very excited for kind of a wacky kids thing. Some of which he's done that I enjoy, and some of which he's done that fucking Ninja Kids that I did not enjoy. But it is interesting. Mostly just, and also a little bit, I don't know, a little just a little creepy to be watching it sometimes. I don't know if that's fair, but some of the camera leers with those characters
a
little strange. I don't know if that's
got like bad Nickelodeon energy or something like that.
Girls Like Heroine.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's fully fair, but I just got a little creeped out watching bits of it.
I didn't know saying that in the few months I've seen, and I haven't really heard complaints of that. But if that's the case, then I've seen it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's Magical Girls should come back. I agree.
Yeah, there's like a good article I've read, or blog post or someone that kind of talks about like it's kind of like a 2-part thing they did. I can share with you guys later, or maybe I'll put in the direct description. I don't know, but it's just kind of like talking about like the weird state the genre is in, where like for various reasons it kind of like petered out in the mid-aughts, and then it's kind of hard to make new ones because one, if you're making a new IP, or like it's hard, so it's kind of like you have to revive an old one, or you're Precure, and Precure Base has a monopoly on the genre in a weird way in Japan. That makes it hard
I
for
get
them to
it.
challenge it.
Basically,
like-
the entrenched IPs are the
Yeah,
other
because
IPs
it's
now.
it's been going since 2004 nonstop, while all the others kind of stopped, and so it's kind of like it's synonymous with the genre in a way that's hard to really dethrone, and also, it's also like by association lumped in as like a legacy franchise in the way Sentai and Kamen Rider is like the little sister, and so it's sort of like, well, are you going to how to what degree can you compete with like Super Sentai and Kamen Rider, and like
Yeah.
so it's like trying to make a new Magic Girl thing in the current era is like competing with Kamen Rider basically on its turf. So it's a weird situation.
Oh, man, that's a bummer because like we should be getting new stuff. Like,
Yeah,
but that's how you get the new ideas in and like the cool stuff, and that's how you
And, like-
discover
and, like-
like hidden gems. Yeah.
and like obviously you still get some Magic Girl stuff, but it's more like in like the adult, grown up or like older audience ones versus like the ones for kids that are like the common ones, like again like Tokyo Mew Mew or even Sailor Moon. Like
Yeah.
those ones are just not around.
Yeah, but it would be nice to get like some new ones of those because like now it's like you get a magical girl thing and it's like it's magical girls but kind of fucked up.
Yeah, actually, one of the
Oh,
articles
yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah, I'll just put those in the chat just because they're interesting. But yeah, the part of the impetus of these is also to like go against like the how much is like the dark magic girl thing a real thing.
Yeah.
So I'll link these in the chat. I'll probably link them in the description too, just so you talk about them.
All right. Yeah.
Nice.
Check them out.
Yeah,
Hell
they're,
yeah, I'll
Okay.
give these a
it's,
read.
it's they're leaked experiences of the blog. But yeah,
All right. I think
Nice.
we're probably good to start talking about the first episode of Orguss. I guess briefly before that, Sanga, what's your history with Orguss? When did you watch it for the first time? Was it this year?
I think it might have been either early this year or late last year when I was doing me big watch all of Macross and the Super Dimensional shows before I started on Robotech and seeing what that was all about. Because yeah, I was kind of just doing a big like, I'll watch all the Super Dimensional shows, and then I finished them and was like, oh, I keep hearing about Robotech, so I'll watch that, and oh, that was a mistake. So yeah. But yeah, I ended up really liking Orguss despite itself. But yeah, it's one of those ones where I can't recommend it to anyone because it's got some real problems. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we're not done with the problems. Me and Mel were kind of hoping, like, oh well, maybe the problems are done with this batch, but they continue, alas.
Yeah. These later episodes do get better, but like
better.
it's
They're like some of the more fraught stuff is like in the background more, or just not as present.
yeah. But it's like there's some real gross shit in this show. That's real annoying because like otherwise it would be a pretty decent show. Like, but yeah, it's just kind of dragged down by this muck, which is extremely frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, let's get into it. Episode 25 of Orguss. What is the full name again? I always forget. Southern Cavalry Cross. That's not right.
No, it's like Super Dimension Century Orguss.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's it.
Super Dimension Century Orguss, the 25th one. The gang continues on to the orbital elevator. They are attacked by Shiram. Olsen tries to get his former commander, Roberto, to see the light. Parentheses, for some reason. But it does not work. Whom fucking murders Roberto? LOL. Also, Henry is mad. That's my summary. What do we think of episode 25?
Yeah, this is the kill off one of the first early guys, and then Henry starts his going AWOL arc, which he'll continue until like basically the end of the show.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right. It's the Roberto unit or Roberto squad.
Yeah, remember those very important named characters?
Yeah, the Trays gang are here.
How dare
Yeah.
you compare Trays to Roberto?
Honestly,
How
yeah,
dare
like-
you?
it's just not even it's not the same.
I will say I'm 99% sure neither myself nor Mel mentioned the word Roberto at any point during our podcast because of how unimportant that guy was. There's a big question this episode, which is the driving point, which is the most important thing, which is why does Olsen think that Roberto would be interested in going around? He doesn't seem to have had an emotional connection to Roberto, nor does Roberto show any like positive traits that might imply that. So it's very confusing.
Yeah, like this is the same squad of sickos who like menace their commander at gunpoint into letting them go after Kay and Olsen again. Like they were about to get taken off the assignment. Like, yeah.
Yeah, so the episode does not make a lot of sense because of that, unfortunately. And I do love him getting fucking murdered by whom? Absolutely,
Yeah.
like gun eviscerated within and just to dust. That's fun.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It is so funny that Moom is like low key the deadliest person in this show. Like the nurse medical bot is like probably has like a body count like equivocal to Kay and Olsen at this point. Like
more
it's
than
wild.
Lieutenant, probably. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I guess we should talk a little bit about Henry. I mean, we'll get to the resolution of his quote unquote arc later.
Yeah, I mean, he
but
sticks around for a good while longer. Probably more than he needs to, but you know.
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely strange, and it doesn't get a very good payoff, which is unfortunately sort of a recurring bit with these episodes. Many
Yeah,
plots are introduced and then nearly immediately dropped or resolved in a very unsatisfying way, which leads you to ask why they were introduced there in the first place.
Yeah.
Henry is such
Yeah.
one of these plots.
It feels like
I'm-
they were meant to be bigger antagonists than they ended up being, but they kind of got pushed aside when they introduced like the Moo threat.
I'm thinking, watching this batch, this show is really serialized towards the end,
Yeah.
and it kind of like I kind of felt like I was kind of missing the more episodic, like go into a weird place and meet some weird guys thing.
Yeah.
Because it feels like by focusing so much on like the plot of the conspiracy of the whole singularity thing and making it like the whole journey to the singularity, it's sort of like we missed a lot of the worlds are smashed together, and so there's a weird place we go to, and
Yeah.
weird things happen. And I feel like that was the thing that I liked in the first third of the show that's kind of missed in this last stretch. Like it feels
Yeah,
like the potential of the setting was not fully explored.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got all these realities kind of mashed together. You want to see like all the weird sicko realities. Like, yeah.
At most, we got France.
Yeah, we got France and Atlantis, which is just like vaguely Polynesian place. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess like spoilers for ahead of this podcast, we got like the graveyard of Jappy's homeland, but you know,
yeah,
otherwise not a whole lot.
Yeah, not too much this episode. Kind of a weird emotional beat. Not super fun. I get this is the episode where there's an extremely epic bread toss between Kay and Olsen, and that's kind of the best part of it.
that's right. Yeah,
Also, I think maybe one of my favorite exchanges, like in the whole show, where Shia is talking to, I believe, her sister, and her sister's like, "Shia, are you scared? Or like, why are you like running?" Oh no, it's Lieutenant. My apologies. Lieutenant's talking to Shia,
right.
and Lieutenant's like, "Why are you running away all the time? It's just because you're scared." And Shia's like, "Yeah, I'm scared. This is scary." Oh, that's good.
I
Good
love
character.
that he starts rambling and she like pushes up his like jaw like a button to shut him up. It's real funny.
That's great. Any other thoughts on this episode before we move on?
No, there's like more substantial episodes. Like,
Yeah.
I guess this episode's important, quote unquote, because a major quote unquote character dies. But like, you know, he's not really anybody. He's not him. He's not even Slay.
Slay does not Slay.
Yeah, it mainly just establishes Henry's whole deal and why he's like such a revenge sicko. Like, yeah.
Which isn't very good. It doesn't make a huge lot of sense for someone who's so loyal to just like, well, I'm not going to follow this order. But
Yeah.
whatever,
I feel
who
like
cares?
at some point my sub switched friction zone to barrier zone, which was also confusing to me.
Yeah, I think that just happens like midway through this scene, which is real weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, episode 26. Kay tells Olsen he can absolutely bang his daughter. Athena instead bangs, or rather booms, her own base containing the D-Force, so that the Shiram will once again need the singularities alive. She gets away with it, scot-free, due to blaming it on the Mew, but Olsen still...
For context, just like the Mu were attacking, so she was like, well, if they get it, it'll be bad, and also, et cetera, the thing Shane already said, so.
Yes. Yeah, so it is very, very funny where she's like, oh, yeah, sorry I blew it up. But the commander interrupts her. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. The fucking Mew blew it up. It's crazy. Those guys are assholes. She's like, yeah, that's what happened.
It's so good. Just like the Moo attacking, just being the cover for her blowing up the system to protect Kay and Olsen is just
she's
real
not
good.
like, well, I have to be a deserter now. And then it's like, well, no, I don't actually. In fact,
Yeah,
I have to get sent after Henry, the actual deserter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she gets away with it scot-free, but Olsen still refuses to smooch her. Also, Henry is still mad. He's still out there. He's still mad. That's it. Episode 26.
Oh yeah, there's a part. It's just fun bit in this episode where like Kay takes Olsen's machine, and so Olsen has to take his machine.
Yeah,
because Kay was trying to radio Athena, who was busy, so couldn't answer. But because like he was already in the cockpit of Olsen's ship when they attack, he was like, "Well, I guess I'm going to this." And Olsen comes to the hangar very confused.
Yeah. Like, where's my plane? Oh, just take K's. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
It's weird because like Olsen's thing is called the Orguss 2, but also like the Rast family had mass production Orguss 2s, I think, which is weird.
Yeah. So I don't know if his is like a custom or it's just an Orguss 2 and he's a really good pilot.
Yeah.
So
why doesn't Olsen want to switch her? What's wrong with Olsen?
Because he's got like 2 decades on her, my dude.
Yeah, like he's like I'm basically your dad.
Yeah, like
also
don't stand so close to me by the police is playing whenever these two interact. Like it's bad out here.
He's very like to the show's credit.
Yeah,
and like it's only like half credit because there's like you didn't have to do this plot to begin with. But to the show's credit, they do make it pretty clear that Olsen's like, I see her as more of a daughter. I'm just not interested in this. Also, he's got like his weird singularity, so I can only focus on this one thing duty.
Yeah, he's all about the mission.
I think I disagree. I think, and this gets more up later, but I think Olsen is pretty explicit later on why he doesn't want to smooch her, and it's not because of the age gap. I think the age gap has zero relevance to his decision. I think it's fully because it's like he is too focused on the mission, as you said.
So that might actually be it because I just remember something else. But yeah, like we'll get to later on.
Yeah, I think the show does not. If the show does not have an issue with like setting up Mahum and Kay, it absolutely would not have an issue setting up Athena and Olsen.
It is weird how Kay is like, listen, I'm not interested in the Mahum like that. But you're
my dude, what are you doing? Like, it's so gross. Like, no, stop it, please.
Yes. There's some more bad stuff, not in this episode, but there's more gross stuff with that later on. Kay does, however, very much want Olsen to bang Athena. It's constantly going on. It's like, look, I'm hitting it. You should be hitting it, and Olsen's just not there. And look, who's to say there is a line where Olsen does talk about how much he loves covering Kay's back, and who am I to read into that too much? But maybe there's some other stuff going on with them that's none of our business.
I know that Kay is Athena's dad, but he's also the same age as her, so he doesn't get to say this.
Yeah, like
this show's weird.
Yeah, it shows a little strange. Some great K lines this episode. While he's trying to talk to Athena, he says, "It's your papa. Please answer." And at one point, he says, "I really don't understand what Olsen does."
It's a choice to make your protagonist a dad because I feel like it's not common in these kind of shows. Yeah, but also it is.
Also, he's like the worst dad. Like,
yeah, and like some of his worstness comes from I was time displaced 20 years, and I didn't have a choice in that. And but also he's not the best person.
No, like this is the dude who like opens in the series basically sexually assaulting every lady he comes across. Like, he's not a good dude.
It's a very high impregnation rate, as we learn.
Well, he has 2, which is about as much as Papty.
Yeah.
We see 2 sex happen on screen, and both of those result in a child. So there's high fertility. Sorry, that's gross for me to say that out loud.
Tune in next year when Shane and I go through Darling in the Franxx.
We'll not be.
No, we will not be doing this.
Welcome to our new podcast, The Breeding Hours. We talk about every show.
Did I get dimensionally transferred into another bad podcast? What's going on here? Like,
another
reality
one.
am I in right now? Yeah.
Like,
We're
I'm
doing
very,
another bad podcast.
this show gets into weird sex stuff. Okay, it's par for the course for this sort of discussion.
You want? I will also say we haven't got there yet. Boys
Yeah.
Brave, the writers were like actually going putting the sex on the screen.
Yeah.
Those
probably
those makers putting the unnecessary sex scenes on there.
God, that discourse. I have more stuff to say about the relationship between Kay and Athena as father and daughter, but I think that's probably left for after the last episode when that comes to a head.
Yep.
Anything else for this episode for 26?
Not really. It's mainly just Athena's kind of a badass when she's in like the pilot seat, like ace pilot out here.
Yeah, she's strong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We keep getting this thing where Mimsy's like, because I'm a girl, I know when other girls are in love. Gender. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got. I mean, maybe it's her like little ear tail thing that tells her when other people are in love with age gap discourse.
I wonder if James Cameron watched Orguss.
0 chance. No way.
You don't think the Na'vi were based off the Amaran?
No, I think they're pulling from the same stuff, obviously, but
yeah,
both in equally boring ways, you might say. Anyway, episode 27. Rieg wants to build a new dimension adapter, but their metal sucks. They go to a mine, but the metal there is shit. Meanwhile, Olsen is more mad, and he tells Athena to fuck off again. She's like, "It would be cool even if you killed me, Olsen." The Cheerim invite the gang to a peace talk that everyone knows is a trap. That doesn't happen this episode. Yeah. So
actually, no, wait, she does. That is later.
Yeah. Another weird thing with this episode and the string of like plots that do not actually seem to go anywhere is that there's a whole thing where they go to the metal refinery and there's like the evil
mayor.
Everyone see a mayor?
Yeah. The dude who like tries to sell him like shit tillings and then immediately sells them out to Cheerim. Like,
yeah, he's like twisting his mustache, which he doesn't have. Calling the Cheerim like, yes, I won't sell him the good stuff. And then the Cheerim show up and is like, yeah, we're gonna want to party up.
Yes, but it is a little weird because as we learn later, it is at least not like on the front of it like a trap. They are mostly intending for actual peace talks and like doing other stuff later, I guess. So it being foreshadowed in that way is a little bit strange in hindsight when it doesn't actually go into the obvious trap angle. And they get not too much happens this episode. I don't have too many other thoughts on it.
It's just moving pieces in position, really.
Yes.
Yeah. I know there's a scene with the Henry unit where like there's a rookie guy who's like saying, "I don't want to be part of this weird revenge vendetta you guys have," and he like insults their dead, and then they just shoot him.
Yeah,
like, it's pretty rough.
I wrote in my notes here that Olsen should probably just like jack off or something. He seems very angry this whole episode.
Yeah. He's really on tilt because they like divert their course. He wants to go to the primary objective, and everyone's like, "No, we got to do some side objectives. Got to level up and get some better gear." Like,
and suddenly our party doubled. They may betray us, but
is he a little upset about the Athena stuff too? Is that I think part of what the show is
I think
doing?
that's part of it as well. Like, the dude's got some mad internal conflict going on. Yeah.
I
do think Olsen's alright though in terms of the cast. Like, he's one of the better characters.
Yeah.
He's like a cool stoic guy. It's not a huge amount that he's doing just because the show does not have that sort of depth. But I enjoy like his acting, his performance.
It is fun. We don't get a lot of it. But we get some shots of like him younger, where he's just like not as stoic, and so it's just kind of cool. Like, oh, he's like the age and like the circumstances have changed him. Which is neat. Whereas Kay is just like a dipshit.
Yeah. It's nice having him as like a foil to Kay's like bullshit, which is also real fun.
It's like both a foil, but also because he's like his best friend from before. He's like a guy he can trust.
Yeah.
But they also have like a real conflict, so they don't. It's like both because they trust each other and because of the real conflicts, they don't mind like beating the shit out of each other because of it.
Yeah. Like they come to blows multiple times in these episodes.
Yeah.
But like they still have each other's backs, which I really like.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. You're right. And rest in peace that guy there, who betrayed Henry.
Not even a name.
Yeah. No. Like they name Fred and Chiba, who apparently are guys who died, never remembered them, but they don't even give the dude they shoot on screen a name, so.
Well, it's all for the benefit of the exciting Henry plot, which will come to the exciting conclusion. All right,
Yeah.
I'm good to
The
go.
thing I
20
wasn't like
Oh,
half paying attention to when
go
I
ahead.
rolled.
Yeah.
All right, let's just move on then. 28.
Come
The
back,
negotiation. What's the name?
come back, lover.
Ooh,
That's right.
lovers come back. The negotiation goes pretty swell. After Chad negotiates them to a better starting point. It turns out the Mew are the endgame bad guys everyone is scared of, and so the Shiram offer to cooperate and even give Rieg his cool metal rods.
The fingers are
Lieutenant-
crossed behind their back.
Yeah, they really do. Like, this thing is so booby trapped, or would be so booby trapped.
It's so
Except
funny
they have a
because
different
like
booby trap.
so funny because like Shy's like, damn, I think they're really cool, and Manisha's like, sister, please listen.
Yeah,
Be a little less trusting sometimes, please.
yeah.
Please, I'm begging you.
Please exercise some cynicism. Come on, what are we doing here?
Shia is so pure.
Uh.
Lieutenant is sad. And during this episode, though, unfortunately. Also, Mimsy leaves to go visit her mom in the hospital. Kay's not a fan, shouting, "You may never come back." She goes away.
So funny how everyone, literally everyone's like, God, chill, relax. She's just gonna go see her mom because she's sick, and she'll be back. It's
Yeah.
fine. Just chill. And he's like,
Yeah.
no, she'll never
Yeah.
go. It's so ridiculous. Oh wait. I need to mention the other really important thing about this episode.
Yeah.
The guy who comes from the Ross family to bring Mimsy. Do you remember what his name is?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Counsel lawyer.
Counsel lawyer, yeah. This is a Tomino-ass Tomino name, if I ever heard
His
one.
attorney
Like,
name.
what is it? He's like the butler or their like advisor or something. Like,
Their advisor. Counsel lawyer.
Counsel lawyer. Oh, what a fantastic name for a dude who's here for only like 2 episodes.
I wish it was in a different show. It's too good.
Yeah, it really is.
I may be
Like-
just a small council lawyer.
Oh yeah, Kay also flirts with the Chiram like hostage woman because they do have like a kind of like collateral, like some Chiram come on the ship and I kind of just
That's
treat
right.
Lookum, and then the Papti's given over to the Chiram just to make sure like the negotiations go well.
Yeah, they do like.
And
a
MMC
hostage
is like visibly
exchange.
annoyed, like, listen, we're dating and you're doing this. Come on, come on.
That's right. Before Mimsy leaves, she's kind of torn about whether she should stay or go. And then, like, when the hostage is freed, this one Sheila just kisses Kay in front of Mimsy, and then she just decides to go home in that moment, like totally unrelated, probably. Like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'd be a
real
little
stuff.
annoyed. I get it. I get be nice to hostages. Maybe don't make out with them. I think you could use
Yeah.
a little, like, push them away a little bit. I think
Yeah.
if you're Kay. Yeah, it's weird because do a lot of talking in this episode. I don't feel like a lot actually happens, which I guess the case for a lot of these with
I
the
think
short summaries.
Clearly, they should have spent this
Yeah.
time going around to a bunch of weird places.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
always.
What is it? They kind of do the aside to like video footage of like the Moose whole ordeal, where they've basically gone full Skynet, and they need to wipe out all of humanity for being illogical or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of it.
Yeah,
Not the most interesting robot civilization, that's for sure.
Hmm.
No, they're not really. They don't have a lot of depth over to them. Yeah, I mean, like the Chiram stuff, I feel like it kind of goes to a weird place too. I'd say 2 more examples of plots not really having a good resolution that are brought up here. The first one is the the going to go visit the mom in the hospital, which I don't know. I guess it's not really a big full plot, but is like immediately resolved the next episode in a way that
Yeah,
some of the drama for the ending makes a little
Yeah.
silly in hindsight.
like they've
Um,
kind of just introduced drama for the sake of drama here, which is kind of frustrating.
Yes, and then also the actual Chiram, like I forget if we know exactly in this episode that they are planning to betray the protagonist, but the way
Yeah.
that ends up going
Yeah.
is also like hilariously muted.
Yeah,
Yep. It's like really built up as a real thing in the background before it's like undercut by like Deus Ex Machina world ending thing happening, which we'll get to later.
yeah.
Yes, so yeah, that's 28 for me. Not too many notes. Any other thoughts?
No,
Not really.
Okay.
I think I'll have to say is like stuff that gets built on later. So
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Episode.
I do
Oh,
find
go
it
ahead.
funny that when negotiations begin on the radio, Shy's so nervous that she goes into like full trader mode, and she's like, "Oh, we'll trade for like grain and chicken or whatever," which is
Classic
real,
Shia.
just a real funny bit. Yeah.
Episode 29. Work continues on Raig's device, explained as, quote, a protective castle for entering the singularity. Later, the bad Shiram guy says he's still evil. Mahum gets Mimsy back, and Mimsy promises Kay they will make out at her mom's grave. The end. Maybe not exactly that phrasing, but we do go over. We find out Mimsy's mom died. And I think our favorite character, Council Lawyerman, is explicitly like, yeah, she was dying and she was like saying your name over and over as she was dying.
Yeah,
dude.
it's
You sucked.
real, like, way to traumatize this kid, you asshole. Like, maybe leave that part out. Like,
yeah. Also, she's royalty.
yeah, yeah, it's like one
Don't
of
worry
the
about it,
two
though.
ruling families or something.
Don't worry about it though.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Also, Shai gets hit on by like the Shiram commander.
yeah, he's like real creeper mode. Like,
Yeah,
Manisha's
but-
there and she's having none of it. Like, she sees right through him.
Oh no, wait.
Shia
was it?
seems a little. She seems to like take it pretty much in stride though. She's a little blushing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, like Shia seems to be into it. So
Oh yeah, the Serenity of the Shiram. His name is Jeffrey White.
that's right.
It like never comes up, but
No, he like introduces himself once and then it doesn't matter. Like,
I think the main thing that this episode lays the groundwork for is that like the Mu like do kind of like hit and run warp tactics.
that's right.
Which Manisha spots, and that is mostly relevant just because there's an episode later.
Yeah.
Boy, Mel. That sounds like a really impressive thing. I bet there's going to be a whole exciting plot about how they're going to handle such a thing, and we'll get resolved very tightly in a single episode.
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing they do to like paint the Chirim as like evil and definitely gonna backstab everyone. It's like when Mu are attacking, they let the Aman forces take the brunt of the fighting, so that like they soften them up so they can get a backstab in late.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some fighting in this episode. That's it's fine. There's a very cute bit when Mahum is with everyone, where she actually strong and is like threatening to beat the shit out of a lawyer councilman.
Oh, it's so good.
She's very cute. Love Mahum when she's not being does not have the weird sexual eye on her that the show puts on.
Yeah, when the show's not being creepy to Moom, she's like probably one of my favorite characters in the show. Like,
yeah, that's not Mahum's fault. Yeah, she cannot be blamed for everyone else being weird.
Like, that's the thing. I love all the characters in this show. I wish they were in a better show. Like,
I love the old man who's just like a bro with Kay. That's like a thing you don't get much.
oh man, I love every time they go to like a little like settlement or something. He's just running riffs, and it's like he's so good at it. He's just the best guy.
Yeah, I like the episode. I like the episode early, like the episode that ends in like the first batch where he and Kay just have a toast, and it's just good.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't get a lot else to do. He does not get his little character arc resolution. Not that I guess he already had his whole episode.
He's not even in the last episode, is he?
I think
so.
we see him dive out of the ship, and that's kind of the last we see of him. Yeah.
He's like complaining, and maybe the second to last episode about everything is the last we see.
Yeah.
Of him, I think. So I think he's good. He's fine.
There's a lot of guys in
He's
this
definitely
show.
around.
Yeah. I didn't really like this episode very much. I like the Mahum, and that was it.
Yeah. It's just kind of whatever.
Yep. Any other thoughts? Good to go on to 30?
Yeah, may as well go on to the next one.
Oh yeah, this is the episode that I was referring to.
Oh, yeah. All right, episode 29 or 30?
30.
Okay. All right, let me break it down real quick. Episode 30, Mahum and Lieutenant are sad about the Moo situation, and they warp back with some little mook moos that are just out in the field somewhere.
I will say for clarity, Moom is more because of her weird feelings to Kay, which are not good.
Yes, that bad stuff. It turns out the Moo suck, and the two of them blow up their warp drive and then warp back. The end.
Oh yeah. Like basically the core of this episode is like the Lieutenant's getting like reintroduced to the Moo, and like they scrap Moom because like she's an out of date model, and also the Moo were like when they were for the humans, they threw out all the humanoid robots. Lieutenant is sentimental for being around the humans. But there's also a stray line. There's a line where Lieutenant's like, he wonders how he's like, oh, do I have these feelings I'm old fashioned, or maybe you modified me into something weird to me? And she just gives like a cheeky grin at me, and she's like, oh yeah. Remember that thing that she did in the last batch?
Oh,
I was making
yeah, she did. She basically mind wiped him and gave him a new personality.
Yep,
Ugh.
pretty
That's
evil.
cool, right?
Yeah, that's a bit.
Also, this episode's weird because the way it ends with like they do the warp thing that sets a self destruct afterwards.
Yeah.
And like one of the guys gets into the warp with them. But the episode ends just fine. He's just not there.
Yeah,
Like,
he just
there's
mysteriously vanishes.
Yeah.
Don't they show him on like a ledge somewhere, looking out over them?
No.
No,
was
that's
looking- I
the
was looking
Colonel
for him.
robot. Yeah,
Okay, different guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one when the LT's getting debriefed is giving him all the exposition about the Moo's whole deal, and they're like, plan to use a warp drive to attack everyone.
Yeah, the thing doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So a few interesting things in this episode. I think I quite like this one, mostly because it has two people I like, who and Lieutenant, both are good, so I can see them to carry a plot together. We learned a little bit more about the new society, and apparently there's like runaway humanoids on street drug equivalents that are like living out in the boonies.
They got robot drugs.
Yeah.
What are they called again? I wrote it down. Yeah, neutron discharge units.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot about this.
Yes.
They're just like little boxes they tape to their head, that making them like crazy.
As opposed to like the Doritos that shoot.
Yeah.
The fucking lacing the Halloween candy with Doritos and neutrons this year.
Like it may as well be Bender with the magnets from Futurama. Like it's that level of dumb, which I honestly, it's kind of great. I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's I do like it. A little bit of a missed potential because I don't feel the stuff about, especially Lieutenant and his relationship with the Mew is treated very well, since it's kind of resolved so fast. Like once he just goes, he realizes they're all dicks, and he's like, well, I have no compunction about murdering as many of my own kind as I possibly can. Because the Mew
the LT is lethal in this episode. Like he's full like Johnny Rambo, like just murking cops in the woods in this like episode. It's wild. Like
they clearly don't build the combat robots like they used to. I guess maybe to make it easier to warp or something, they have to build them kind of crappy like, would be my guess. I care about the lore that much.
Well, they're going for, what is it, quantity over quality, so they've cheaped out on some parts somewhere.
Right, exactly. But you don't get the impression, like, it's not like the story is giving it a lot of gravitas, which I feel you would need to do for this sort of plot, where it's like like I'm back here, I'm back with my people, and like there's things that I'm used to, there's things that I'm comfortable to, but like I realize ultimately what the government is doing here is wrong, and there's decisions. There's none of that. It is like he goes back, everything that he values, like as a person, like with a capital P, as like a sentient being with thoughts and feelings, is not valued over there. But there's like no discussion given to like him changing. It's just like, well, these guys that used to suck, now they suck. I'm gonna die, which isn't very interesting as a plot.
It is kind of wild though, because he is like a person out of time. Like when he's getting the debrief, we learn that he's like he fought in the war 200 years ago, which is when he was supposedly like disabled and deactivated.
Yeah.
We also learned that Moom's model is like 319 years old is when they stop production. So why is Isekai like this? We'll never know.
Yeah. I know. Is this where it starts? Probably not. It's probably older.
Probably not. But this is one of those. So
Mahum's reason for going back doesn't quite make as much sense. Like I get like being sad about and jealous for Kay, but she doesn't really seem to have any feelings about the Mew in the same way Lieutenant does, which is okay. I don't mind making up an excuse for her to go back. But then also in the same vein, her decision to, let's just go back over to the Groma also does not hold a lot of weight, because doesn't make sense why she's over here really in the first place emotionally.
Well, I guess I'm going.
Yeah.
She's like, well, if they're gonna kill us, we should go back.
Yeah,
I think it's pretty.
Yeah,
That's pretty reasonable.
yeah. And also, if we're gonna go back, we may as well just like on the way, as a little favor, blow up the entire dimensional drive. We could take that out, and they do pretty easy. They don't have any guards in it.
Extremely funny because this is probably like the most Metal Gear Solid episode. Like they're just here doing tactical espionage action for like a whole episode, and then they get back and no one comments or even knows what they did. Like they changed the entire course of the war. Like
I wouldn't believe Lieutenant. If Lieutenant was like, sorry I was gone. I was busy blowing up that extremely evil warp drive 1 billion miles away. I would not believe him. Even when I saw people stop warping in, I'd be like, oh, that's a coincidence. Strange. Yeah. I believe Mahum, but I guess that's what would happen. Mahum told them, no, he's not fucking around. That's really what we did. And they're like, oh shit. Yeah. But still, like, kind of fun episode, like the characters. Big sexual harassment moment for Mahum for no reason, where
why does a robot need to do that? Like,
I forgot this happened.
It's
I wish I could.
It's so gross. Like, why does the robot need to try and lift up her skirt? Like,
yeah, it's like part of an inspection.
Oh yeah.
They go over when they first meet her, and Lieutenant's like, oh yeah, she's just my personal assistant. And the robot Mew just like tries lifting up her skirt, and she screams. Bad. Why do you keep feeling the need to do this? Stop it, Orguss.
Now, actually, there was a really bad episode of Ultra and Ace where like it was immediately right after the retool, where like there was an episode of a tapir, and it like the tapir like put its face trunk under the it was bad. I don't know why they did that. It was bad.
Yeah, no.
It was live action too. So what the fuck?
Yeah, what are we doing here? Like, stop it.
Bad.
Why is it so hard to just not be gross? Please stop.
Getting out the spray bottle for Orguss. Just it every time.
Get the fucking Scorpion and the Frog parable, I guess, for some of these guys.
Yeah. So that's big plot issue immediately resolved again, I guess. So it doesn't come up again.
It's fine.
It's okay. Any other thoughts on this one?
No.
Not really. It's probably like one of the episodes I like the most in the show. So yeah.
It's just mostly a fun little adventure with characters I enjoy, and that's good. I wish more episodes could be like.
Yeah.
Episode 31. Mimsy collapses. What's this one called?
Children.
Yeah.
It opens with them having sex.
Yeah.
Yes, my first note is just they fucking.
Yep. Same. Notes here. Mimsy and Kay are fucking. Mimsy and Kay are secretly fucking. Everybody knows that Mimsy and Kay are fucking. So.
And shortly after the banging, Mimsy collapses. Is she infertile? No, she's in fact very fertile. Bred, in fact, because Kay has been banging her. Olsen and Athena are mad because, parentheses, perhaps they hate reading. Kay gets mad and flies off. Olsen and Athena follow them, and they get trapped in a dimensional shift. They escape, and they're all chill, but Olsen still won't bang Athena.
Yeah. I like that right after like the afterglow they have like the little butterfly.
The afterglow.
Yeah. Listen, it's what it is. It is what it is, right? Like, that's what they fuck. Like there's just a butterfly because like, oh yes, symbolism for life. And the next episode preview makes a point of like the time they get like transported to is like the early stage of the Earth, so like the birth of the Earth. And it's just kind of like it's a little fun juxtaposition. It's not deep, but it's like they're doing something a little bit that's kind of like I noticed. It's like I appreciate the thought that went to that.
Yeah.
I do find it funny that after Kay and Olsen and Athena have the big fight, Kay goes to play some video games for a bit, is real bad at it, and then just decides to go out cruising in his hot rod instead.
That's pretty funny. He's a jock. He's a jock. He's not a gamer.
Oh, jock. He really is.
Olsen, even though he's frequently like, we should not both be putting ourselves in danger, he just decided to follow for no reason. And I guess like Athena, so they're both mad. This is like, I guess a lot of the, I guess it's like the resolution of kind of the Kay Olsen friction for Olsen disliking generally how like tied up, in this case, quite literally, Kay is like in affairs of this world that they might have to end up destroying. Now, like having yet another kid.
Yeah, he's like doing Jedi shit. Like you can't have personal attachments.
Yeah.
You got focus on the mission. And then Athena has got like the weird complications you have when you have like a weird relationship with your dad, and he has like someone else he likes that isn't your mom who's dead.
Yeah.
Yes, especially because Kay was not around because he was did not exist in that point of time.
Yeah,
yet.
he
So
just,
you can't
he
really
just
blame
was
him.
not a person.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I do want to bring up the flashback scene that she has, which is very, very funny, where Tina is, which if you the viewer have forgotten, Tina is Athena's mother, who Kay had sex with in the first episode. So it's her as a mother. We learned that all photos of Kay in their household were burned because Tina's dad burned them all because out of rage for knocking up his daughter and then leaving. And then additionally, she Tina says, actually, you had a very good father. He was a great father. I'll always be here for you in your father's behalf. Which listen, I forgive Kay, but objectively not a good father if he's literally not there. He just cannot be eligible for that award.
This feels like what is it? She's trying to cover for the fact that he's absentee or whatever. Like,
yeah. I do appreciate that. Like, Kay clearly loves both Tina and Mimsy.
yeah.
In a way, it's like, well, someone whose like wife passes away, they still love them even if they have a second marriage, kind of thing.
Yeah, Kay's pretty good in these episodes. He is. I think there's been like the part where he's like kind of he freaks the fuck out a little bit, but otherwise,
I think once he got past the part where he like almost makes out with his daughter, he's been pretty good on like his relationship with Athena has been pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah. Like he's kind of making an effort to actually be a dad, which is honestly pretty sweet in some of these. Like, yeah.
Because like he's like, well, even if the easy way out would be like it's not his fault, but he's like, well, I still feel responsible.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is also his fault because he did like blow up the world.
Yeah.
I guess I can't let him off the hook too much.
Like he disobeyed direct orders just to activate the bomb. Like this is his fault.
Yeah.
No one really calls him out for that on the show, which they maybe should do.
Yeah, I mean, they called out Shinji for doing like Third Impact and Rebuild 3, so
Yeah. What would it be like if Kay was in Shinji's shoes for Evangelion? Would anything change?
He'd probably just kiss Masato, and then she'd be angry.
Yeah. You don't think they'd become a couple?
I mean, they probably would.
He could fix her.
Actually, is Kaji alive in Rebuild 3? I forget.
Who's alive?
Kaji, like Masato's like boyfriend, flame kind of guy.
And
he's alive.
He helped teach Shinji. No, I don't think they're together by that point because he's hanging out at the new like farmer civilization they have on the ground. Like he's helping Shinji there. I believe, if I recall.
I know they have a kid together in those rebuilds. So
is that maybe the kid died? I don't remember. I think is that it? Like the kid died and then they went apart. Sorry if you haven't watched rebuilds yet.
No, I think the kid's still alive. I think Kaji might have eaten it. It's been so long.
Yeah.
I know there's a time skip and Kaji's just gone after that. So
this is also the episode of Orguss where they have that conversation I mentioned between Olsen and Athena, where he explains why they can't be together. Athena, I can't live the way Kay does. I'm probably not as courageous as he is. Then he walks off. So sorry, not handling it, but this episode, sex and they get mad. It's not a good one. Not a great episode. A little unconnected.
Yeah. Thank you to the makers.
Okay, episode 32. Very short summary for this one. The Singularity has got a meteor about to hit it, and everyone is kind of freaking out, especially Kay. Javier finds that his homeland has unfortunately been destroyed, and so he's quite sad. He freaks out too.
I need to say right here.
Yeah,
they say Olsen says it's global warming, and they describes it as a very localized event happening, which is just really funny.
The globe really fucking warms up right here. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Like the idea is cool. Like, oh yeah, there's because of the weird like barrier zone and like the way the singularity stuff works. There's like a the atmosphere acts like a lens, which can like superheat an area. But the fact they use global warming to describe it is really funny because like this is the opposite of global by definition.
Yeah, because like global warming is also happening because that like friction zone is creating like a greenhouse effect with its thing.
Yeah,
Like the way when there's like a solar eclipse with the major singularity, just basically doing a laser blast on an area is like pretty cool as well. Yeah, except for the people who experience, it's very not cool for them. But
it's pretty warm actually.
I really like this episode. I thought this episode was probably one of the best ones in the show.
It feels like Jabby just didn't matter for like 20 episodes, but he gets a good resolution.
Yeah, and he never has to deal with the fallout of cheating on his girlfriend. They're all dead.
Unlike Kay, who has a lot to deal with on that front.
Yeah.
God. A little silly, but the image of Javier Javier looking out like over the destroyed civilization, he just says, "Oh my God," was like, damn, that kind of got me.
We get like the Amaran doing like their morning ceremony like they did in the episode 2 or so, which is good. And like you have Jabby going like, I appreciate they did this for my species. And it's like Kay has to like talk him out of like leaving about Jabby wanting to stay here to die, and it's like he isn't able to appeal on like friendship. He's able to appeal on like, well, we need your special skills for the mission. And it's able to like bring him back. And he's like, well, listen, the Glomar is my family now, my homeland now, so it's okay.
Yeah, I think all that stuff's great. It's in like a very good like parallel between Javier and Kay when he talks to Mimsy at the end. I think it's a great little character moment about where Mimsy's like, hey, let's like talk. Let's be two human beings for a sec. Well, she's not human, but let's be two people for a second. And like, why I can't understand what you're doing. And he just like goes like, listen,
because he spent the whole episode being like really weird and wishy-washy. Because he's like both like, it seems like he's kind of like being a coward about the singularity, but he's also being reckless, fighting to protect the Glomar. And she's like, what's up with that? And he's like, listen, I'm kind of like torn between the whole saving the world and also just like, I could die saving the world, but maybe if I let the world die, I can use the time I have left to actually be with you and my child, and that's a complicated feeling. But I feel like I want to like, I'd rather have the world be one where my child can live in, which I think is cool. It's good.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a quick question with the morning bit. Where wasn't the whole thing was like the morning early on was like they were kind of like dancing and like kind of having a good time. They don't seem to be doing that this time around. They seem to be just normal being sad morning. That was like, remember Kay was mad about it in some of the first episodes. He's like, why are you like acting so nonchalant about all these people dying? And then it was like, maybe
they're just doing like a more conventional morning. I don't know. Maybe they forgot.
Yeah, I don't really remember the dancing. I thought it was more because they just kind of were like, oh yeah, we burned the pyre and that's it, and we're done mourning. Yeah.
They did the pyre, so
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't quite.
I think he was really incensed about this idea of, oh yeah, we just kind of forget about them, but like the reality is, no, that's just how they deal with like grief and loss. Like,
But yeah, very very solid episode. You like this one too, Sanga?
Yeah, I really like this episode. I like that we get like more interiority with Javiet and that, and like Kay just like laying out his feelings to Mimsy as well about like his whole deal is like really good. Like, this is just a good episode. Yeah.
I'm gonna say this because it's funny. Red just delivered to me tomorrow's episode of Ultra Cube live on camera or microphone. Nice. But yeah, this is a pretty good episode. I feel like I'm appreciating some of these episodes more just like talking to you guys about them, because I also feel like I was kind of like, I was watching them like sped up and I was like, because I wanted to get them done. But you're talking about them, it's like, oh yeah, there's stuff here. Like there's a lot of problems, but there's a lot of like, there's good things in this show, and that's it's cool. I mean, I could do it'd be better if there wasn't the bad stuff, but you know,
I don't.
It's a show of contrast.
Show of contrast. Like, didn't you say last time it was like it goes between we're so back, it's so over? Like,
that was my I think that's just an accurate description of the Orguss experience. Like,
it really is just that.
I think like I like this episode and all. It is a pretty low peak. Like I don't think any of the stuff here happening is like revolutionary. Just like I'd say like good. and it's like all the stuff I mentioned about is good. I like Javier being sad that his people are dead, and then have a little parallel between Kay's own things that he's going through. But those are also like very like in every other episode, the ways that those are handled are, I mean, Javier doesn't really exist in other episodes, but Kay's emotional stuff is frequently just not handled with the same level of tact. Just like very inconsistent. And so I think like overall, I still have a pretty bad impression just because the majority of the time they are dealing with Kay, he's like either obnoxiously misogynistic or like weirdly out of touch, or just like the focus of his character arc is not center frame in a way, and when it is, it's not doing anything revolutionary. Which case here, I don't know. I like this episode, but I don't like. I think it's pulling from a lot of things I would have rather have had more focus on generally, like as a big climax, rather than just a little inbuilt problem kind of done and resolved in this episode in like a pretty gay way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good job for them doing it. Shout out to Javier's dead girlfriend. Any other thoughts? Good to move on.
No, I got nothing really standing out to me here.
Okay.
I think we touched all the main points. Yeah.
All right. Episode 33. Athena is appointed bodyguard, parentheses again, of the Singularities, because
I guess this confused me because it is just like, well, did we forget that happened already?
I was not sure. But she's appointed double bodyguard because of TJ Henryoshi. She's mad when she sees Kay macking on Mimsy, but Olsen tells her to chill the heck out. Kay is busy doing god stuff after all, and anyway, Henry attacks and Athena gets hurt. Meanwhile, the Chirum have installed an evil mind control circuit onto Riggs' machine to control Kay and Olsen, right as they're about to go into the Singularity. Riggs says he will handle it. Kay feeds Athena some sour apples, which makes Athena cry tears of happiness. The end.
This also has some fun stuff. You just get the scene of Athena walking in, and all of a sudden he's just in the dark smoking, and she's like, "Why are you doing this?" He's like, "Keep the lights off."
He's just sitting in the dark with his sunnies on, chain smoking. Like,
he just never has his shades off.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. Like, this man is incredible. Just completely on one in this episode. I do also like the lieutenant's speech at the beginning, where he's like, "Comrades of people we must cherish." Like, that's also real good.
I like Kay actually gets to have a conversation with Athena. Well, it's kind of one-sided more than anything, but like he gets to actually like talk to her about his feelings.
Yeah.
And the way I feel is pretty good. Like he's doing this stuff to care for her, and he's like, "Listen, I know I'm being a bit selfish, but like I know you can't forgive me. I know, or at least I understand you wouldn't. But also like I might not have much time left, so I want to like at least do what I can to be as much of a dad as I can do in this time."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I'd like to be able to do the same for my unborn child, but who knows?" And it's nice. Like Athena can't really do much because she's not feeling well, but like, and she's like a bit like fuck off kind of thing. But like, it's nice.
Yeah, I mean it
also, Henry fucking dies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That's right. Like he has a whole. That's how Athena gets hurt. Is like they have the whole dogfight with basically her soloing the entire Henry squad, and then the Chirum reinforcements rock up and just murk him in a single blast.
Yeah, just fucking super beam him. It's so
yeah.
Rip Bozo.
Yeah. Just we got the impact frames out here. He's just gone. Dunzo.
I can't believe iconic villain Henry was taken out in episode 33 of Orguss, leaving us now with 0 named villains.
It's so unceremonious how he gets got too. It's just incredible. Just what a nothing end to a nothing guy.
Yeah, what was the fucking deal with him? Like they set him up. They give him like little extra scenes that build up his villainy. He gets taken out like a chump, and he does not matter. They're completely pointless.
Yeah, like I was expecting when he got in the dogfight with Athena for them to have like some sick moves bust out and for like to be real tense. It's like, nah, he just gets got.
The show has exactly 2 episodes where the fights look okay, and it's not this one. They save those, mostly for next episode. It's kind of the only
Macross
one.
I think just better, higher quality across the board. I believe.
Oh, easily, yeah. She was constantly way cool in that. There's like really awesome things happening every other episode. Not for the budget in the show. Awesome Whom is sick. She goes
Yeah.
gray. Her batteries run out.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean I agree with Mel. I think it's a good scene with Kay and Athena talking down there.
I think it's funny. Olsen has a scene where he like pretends Henry's an actual character who matters, and he says, Henry and Kay are alike. They really get turned when they get decide on something, and like Henry's not that guy.
Nah.
That's a very funny scene. I do like how everyone is just kind of making fun of Kay. They're like, we all love how you're a man of action, Kay. You love a little shonen protagonist guy. He's like, I can tell you guys are being sarcastic. It's not fun.
That's right. They're giving him shit for his quick hands or something. Like,
Olsen says, like the headlong rush of a wild boar, which
that's
is
right.
Yeah, and the twins just tease him for like, oh man, he got Mimsy real fast. We gotta be careful.
I love me and Maria. They're great.
Someone needs to. They want some boyfriends. Someone should go be their boyfriend.
They just put the dirty pair in this show, and they're just good. Like,
I gotta watch Dirty Pair.
I like the effect when Whom's energy goes low, where like she's looking in the mirror and like her color fades out. I think that's very, very evocative.
Yeah. Like you can tell something's up with her right away.
There's no outline in that scene, which is in the reflection.
Yeah, she's a vampire. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we very.
I think it's because they just flipped the cell for that, so it's like you've got the back of the cell, so the line art would be on the other side of it, and that's why it looks kind of weird.
It looks cool. Again, I like the artistic environment. Not a thing I say. I don't say the show looks good a lot. So when it happens, you got to give it up.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Henry. Mode of silence for Henry. Okay. Any other thoughts for this one?
Not really.
Okay. Episode 34, the penultimate episode of Orguss. We're nearly there as I collect these notes.
Battlefield.
Athena removes her pizza and dresses like an Amarn to symbolize her change. The final battle rages, and Mimsy goes out on the battlefield to help command it a little bit better. She gives like 3 commands and then immediately collapses from pregnancy. Athena and Mahum protect her at the cost of Mahum's life. Kay lands and she dies in his arms. Kay picks up the still unconscious Mimsy as he prepares for the final push. Also, the Groma blows up at some point.
Yeah.
Good battle raging. There's some sick like drifting in this episode that
I feel like I tuned out a lot of this episode because it is the battle raging. But I need to call out Moom just being like, I gotta lock in, and she like dismounts the gun from one of the ships and hooks it up to her battery and just starts going commando, and it's pretty sick. It's so cool.
Just Boom truly is the protagonist of this show. Just like amazing.
That the show would be so much better if she was like the focus character.
Oh, I really would. Yeah. But one of the things I also like with this battle is like they do a lot of sweeping shots of like the fleet with the mix of the Chiram and Aman ships, and it just really gives you like a sense of scale of the battle going on. Like it's some real Legend of the Galactic Heroes nonsense going on here.
Yeah, it's excellent. We all watched the Orguss compilation of Super Robot Wars for all the attacks, and they included such iconic attacks as the time Kay kicks a guy, and the time Kay shoots missiles, and the time Kay shoots a lot of missiles. They did not include the one, I guess I'll say two cool attacks, which is the time he grabs onto like a pole and does a cool ricochet. And I'll say the other cool attack he does in this episode where he just drifts into dudes and murders them while blowing them up. So also his name is Ken in those.
Yeah.
According to the translation.
The Orguss has like a terrestrial tank form that we only see in this episode, where it's like its legs sort of fold in and it's like semi-drifting, semi-hovering as well, and he's just running dudes over in this mode. It's like it's the sickest thing. Like I'm shocked they like didn't show this attack mode like in earlier episodes.
Yeah, they got the animation budget for one episode. They're gonna have them transform and look cool. and roll out all that other stuff.
No, actually, they reused the shot when in a lot of the early episodes when you hopped into the cockpit. They used a shot of in the opening where he puts on the helmet. They used a shot a lot.
I was pretty sad when Whom died. That was I think a pretty affecting death as far as the show can do. Really tragic. She was just like a little girl who loved Kay and died in his arms. Protecting Mimsy, who is very, very stupid this episode. They do her dirty. They do Mimsy real dirty.
Yeah.
She's like, I need to get out on the battlefield to command better. And she gives 3 commands in a row and immediately crashes and ends up killing someone. So what's a little bit of sexism there? Not know her own ability, and her pregnancy makes her too weak. Don't enjoy that too much.
Yeah. It's like, that's right. When Kay leaves, he picks Moom up and he's got just Mimsy in the cockpit, and it's like, my dude, why are you taking the unconscious pregnant woman into the battlefield? Like, what is wrong with you?
I don't think they have a lot of time to go back, and the Groma might already be up at that point, to be fair.
I mean, the real reason I know is because they just want it there at the ending, so they can have like the big emotional farewell, but it's like, it's still kind of baffling the way they do it here.
I mean, this is the episode 2 where Athena kind of goes and has her whole her character arc, quote unquote, is completed, as signified by dressing up like in a Marn, and valuing those parts of their culture, I suppose. How do we feel about all that? Is that good?
Like, I get the symbolism behind it. Like, she's changed. She's kind of forgiven like Kay for his bullshit. Like, in that sense of symbolism, it's pretty like neat. But like, they also do a kind of dirty when she like first encounters Moom and Mimsy, and has a moment where she like leaves them for dead, and then her conscience kicks, and she goes back. Yeah. But by then, like, the Moo have already like found them. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you're saying it's her fault?
Oh no. Oh no. Man, the sexism with the writers here is just, one of these women is at fault, unfortunately, according to them, which please stop.
It's I don't know. Athena stuff never super engaging to me across the series. It seems like just a little bit rote. Like, okay, she forgives everyone. She's just a member of the team for one more episode now. She's still good at shooting people. Very, 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 very good bit where Papti is on the turret and is rocking one of her babies while she's shooting.
Yeah,
excellent.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
One of the best little shots of the series, I think, in total. Fantastic.
I also like Javier in the big like tank mech with the massive gun, and he's going on about how he's really bad at this, as he's just absolutely murking fools, like just a monster in his own right. Yeah.
He's got murder on the mind. He's rage pill now.
Yeah.
But a lot of battle raging this episode. Sad. Once again, rest in peace too. Not as much of a legend as Henry, but shout out to Whom for dying. One of the best characters in this show. Mel, you got anything else for this one?
No, I mean, a lot of it's just the battle rages. So like the Athena beats and the Moom dying are the real main points. I think we cover that pretty well.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a moment where Reeg removes like the sabotage from the the adapter or whatever. Yeah.
That's right.
Remember that was a plot point that was going to be a thing. Until it wasn't.
But like, I do like that he fixes it by just pulling out this Dr. Wily looking circuit with a big W on it. Like,
it's not a big deal. He just like, all right, listen, there's this evil plot against us. This is like the plot that has been core, like in some ways core to like what the bad guys are, right? This is all been leading up kind of to this, because the Shiram are like these treacherous evil people. They're together. There's all these things that are foreshadowing it's going to be a trap. The trap has sprung. How are we going to deal with this? Reeg goes over and pulls it out, and that's it. They don't have it. There's no guards there. It's fine.
He pulls the RAM out of the mind control, and the mind control doesn't work anymore. It's fine.
What's the point? Why have this whole the whole show is building up to this? These are the main bad guys.
They have this whole scene where they try and like trick it. The cheer try to trick Reeg to be like, oh no, don't worry, it's just it's nothing. Don't worry about it. And he has this thing where he's like, I found out, but only tell Kay and Olsen, and it'll pretend it was a cover up, and then the last minute we'll take care of it, and then the last minute take care of it, and then meanwhile the chairman are like, "There's going to be a fucking access drop. What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Insane.
Like, I was
Uh,
honestly expecting them to, like, get up the orbital elevator and then have to do, like, oh, we got to disarm the bomb to fix this thing in, like, a matter of minutes before we, like, hit the singularity or something. But nah, Rig just kind of fixes it. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, there's so many better ways you could have like made this an actual plot. You could have had like, oh, maybe Reek fails and they have to fight against the brainwashing. Maybe they have to like fight each other. Like one of them's brainwashed, the other one isn't. So you could do a lot of dramatic things with that. That is not pulling the circuit out of the wall and plot resolved.
Yeah.
Entire faction diffused. Nothing else there to be found.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the last thing. Good job, Reeg, for doing it. I still don't even really know what the fuck the machine does, to be honest. Is that the thing that gets him through the barrier in last episode?
I think so.
The Reeg machine? Okay. Well, I guess it's useful then. Episode 35, the last episode of this show.
Dimension creation.
The gang makes their way up to the orbital elevator with Lieutenant bravely sacrificing himself for the group. Rest in peace. Fighting through Moo fellas, Kay, Olsen, Mimsy, and Athena reach the top, and the two twins, they just get out of there at some point. Doesn't really matter. The women say goodbye to the two singularity men passing through the major singularity, who, upon doing so, confront their past selves at the very moment of when the bomb was originally exploding, and it caused all the issues there. They both begin shooting at each other as we get like beautiful little still frames of all four of the characters as the opening of the show starts playing, as we see a montage of all of the characters having happy ending. The end.
Yeah, I think in our conversation where you said it was definitely Olsen with a mission and not the feelings thing, I remembered this moment, and I was like, oh wait, yeah, because you get the shot of him kissing Athena, in a sense.
Yep.
You both saw my message in the neural mapping server when I finished the show yesterday. When I was like, what?
I do like that you spaced out the spoiler on it as well, so it looked like you had like an actual sentence to say, and it's just you click on it, it just says what.
Could you both explain a little bit more about that? Just like say like what's what you thought of it for the ending wise.
It's very abrupt, and it's like it's abrupt and it's really like open. Like most of this is spent on like the journey up, and you get some cool moments. You get like Lieutenant being like, well, I guess it'll go on ahead, and he dies heroically sacrificing himself. Ripped robots. You get the twins doing the same thing, but they get out. You get the tearful goodbye from Athena and Mimsy. Kay is, I like the funeral for Moon. That's nice. He's like, I saved my one missile for this.
She gets spocked. Just like in Wrath of Khan.
It's a burial at space, which is real
Spoilers,
nice.
I haven't seen Star Trek because I'm watching Sequest for some reason.
Spoilers: Spock dies in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and then never comes back. Don't look up the subtitle for Star Trek 3.
Listen, for various reasons I'm familiar with the poster for Star Trek 5, so that's what it was a little bit.
Oh, it's a different guy. Yeah, that's not Spock. That's
for context, brother. there's a YouTube Let's Player I follow, and he gets Christmas gifts every year from his fans. And one year, someone sent him like 25 copies of Star Trek 5 for every day of the Advent.
That's really good.
Like every day he was like, he just opened it up, was like, oh, it's another copy of Star Trek 5.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, you got to be really committed to the bit to do that. So, like, kudos to them. That's brilliant. Like, amazing.
I actually like Star Trek 5, but we can't get into it there. That's my controversial Star Trek take.
Yeah, I'll find out after Sequest, I guess.
I have a hot take about this ending. I actually do not think it's that confusing. It is abrupt. But
I think it took me a bit, and I kind of got it. It's just like in the moment when I was watching, my immediate reaction was, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, I feel like it's
Like,
more
'cause-
just an issue of form.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, what happens? They go back in time. Something happens. I guess it doesn't really matter what. I suppose like they shoot both of their younger versions of themselves, and the world they create is one where all the things that they want happen, which involves all the characters having good endings. Which
Yeah, like
is,
I took it
yeah.
as like they stopped the bomb from blowing up the timelines, which means that like all the possible timelines happen, and we're seeing the different timelines that exist because of that
Yeah.
in the final shot. It was strange to me because I was like, why are they shooting each other? It's like a weird like thing.
Yeah, that probably doesn't make a huge amount
Oh.
of sense in the moment.
I
I
love
also-
that so much. It's some real like 70s sci-fi bullshit. Like, yeah.
like why they like pick a fight with them? Like why couldn't they just say, hey, don't? Especially because like think about it, if your future self comes and shoots you, then doesn't that create a time loop? Like, does that create a paradox?
Things
it's
Orguss
because-
is not interested in talking about.
Yeah. I do have a take on this, and I think it's because when they do go back to the back in time, it's actually after the bomb has detonated. So like my read on it was that like when Kay activated the transdimensional vibration bomb in like episode 1, it like tangled all the realities together into like a Gordian knot,
Yeah.
and then they're anchored by Kay and Olsen's existence in that moment because they were the closest to it. So they get kind of ejected out in time later, with Kay getting ejected out like 20 years after the fact, and Olsen just kind of being there because he was further away from the blast. So when reality attempted to resolve that, it kind of mashed all the realities together, resulting in the weird unstable world full of like dimensional transfers and like the friction zone and all that, and the major singularity just orbiting it. So when they enter the major singularity, they go back to the point in time post detonating the bomb, and by destroying each other, they remove the anchors from the knot, basically release all the timelines, while at the same time creating a bunch of new possible timelines where like all their friends have happy endings. If that makes sense.
Yeah. But
At least that's how I read it.
It felt weird because I feel like it was also like those timelines include ones where they're alive, which it feels like they went out of their way to stop. I don't know. It's strange. Like thinking about the science too much, it's always gonna be confusing. It is kind of interesting the way that the show seems to be building very clearly for the last episodes. Like, well, it probably won't make it out of this. Like, there's probably a good happy ending for these guys. I just when they saw their past selves, I wasn't prepared for like how few minutes left of the episode there was left.
Seconds left in the episode.
Yep.
And so you just get them like hey fuckos, we're your future selves, and then they just start pulling guns on each other, and it's like, why? It's such a wild escalation. And then like you see the shot of the 4 guns, and then everything goes to white. And you see like Kay with both Mimsy and with Tina, which is interesting.
Yeah, like we get timelines where it's like Kay and Mimsy are human, Kay and Mimsy are Raman, like Kay and Tina are in one. What is it?
Well, I mean, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter whether it's like multiple ones or just one same one, because the only reason I think that it's just they make the one same universe is just because they keep talking about it the whole way for the whole show. Also, it's very particular. Like, listen, we are given the power of gods, and the show also explicitly states that that it's like the will of the singularities that are going to create it. So it doesn't seem to be exactly the same thing if they go over and they just untangle a mess and then all of them happen, because that doesn't seem like they're creating or choosing anything. That's why I think they're just creating a universe that just has the one, like all those things are happening at once, which hilariously also includes Shia getting together with
Manisha's husband.
Yeah, she was really more of a win for Manisha's husband than for Shia. So she, poor Manisha, does not quite get what she wants in this new reality, but everyone else does.
And I'm like, obviously the OVA takes place. It was made like a decade later, but I'm curious like what the OVA will do, just because like there's such an open ending. It's like it does leave a lot to interpretation of like what happened. Like I mean, it does feel pretty like obvious. Oh, they fucking killed each other. But also like you get by doing so, like there's the timelines that exist or they're still alive.
I think the mechanics are confusing, but I think like the end result is pretty clear. Everyone's happy now. Because the show is like not concerned about the mechanics, as I've
Yeah.
complained about many times before.
It is weird that it feels like they sacrifice themselves, but they still live happily in the end.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like technically a different Kay and Olsen.
It feels like the weight from like what they did is kind of like undercut a bit, and also it's like it's weird because it's sort of like sacrificing themselves to make the world they leave behind better, but also is like, does the world they left behind exist anymore, or do they create a bunch of new ones?
Yeah.
Like it's unclear what happens to the world where they just left and came from. And we even see like the thingamajig like slam into the singularity as well right before they enter, and we don't see what happens there either, like what that causes to happen.
Yeah, we say we like the ending as it is.
I think yes, I think so.
Yeah,
and
I really like this ending. Like,
I think it definitely makes the show more interesting than if they tied everything up in a neat little bow. And it kind of fits with like the weird dimensional stuff.
I just like it being so open to interpretation that it's like it's something meaty that you can really like think about. Like I still think about it like whenever I get like a quiet moment, because there's nothing quite like this that I've seen. Like most of the time Mecha they go to is either instrumentality or everyone dies. So getting something that's kind of different is like real cool.
Yeah, so it's either Ideon or it's Evangelion.
Yeah, pretty much. Which is also Ideon, just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all Ideon?
It was all Ideon! It was all Oklahoma, or whatever.
I mean, it is weird, like, the degree to it. I said that jokingly in the first episode, but there's an undercurrent to which I'm like, I don't think this 100% makes sense, but there's an ethos I feel to it, whereas, like, if Macross is, like, the team doing Gundam, then it felt like Orguss was a bit like them trying to do Ideon. I don't think it goes 1-to-1, but I think you could... I feel like you can get a bit of what I'm going for, right? Like, there's a stuff there, like for one, I definitely think like the Chira mechas remind me of like the Buff Clan stuff a bit.
They got a real Tron vibe to them as well, like the sort of T shape going on, or the inverted U shape.
Like it is funny just how like everything is default Gerwalk mode. By name, like they just called it that.
Yeah.
My new band name, Default Gerwalk Mode. Sequel to Depeche Mode.
Yeah. I definitely...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I will say I am a bit of a dumbass because I was like, why do they need to go to the space elevator? And then I realized, it's because the old space elevator is the thing that like penetrates above the barrier zone. That's why.
Yeah.
But it was cool seeing that. It's cool having a set piece of it breaking. There's like, the space around the friction zone is worn out because the barrier is rubbing against it.
Yeah, and because they're all fighting in it, it's like, it's hit critical capacity and it's just tearing itself apart now. Like, I
don't know where Kay got the flower for Moon, but more power to him.
He was in the forest. Maybe he picked it up off the ground.
I do like he got the pendant, Tina pendant. Athena's exchange is nice, where she calls him dad for the first time and calls Olsen instead of uncle.
Maybe that's why Olsen didn't want to bang her, because he kept being weirded out by being called uncle all the time.
Yeah.
If she just stopped doing that, she could have got what she wanted.
Maybe he's the type to prefer it if he called her daddy.
Okay.
Oh no.
This was preview for the reading hour part 2.
Listen, this show is a bit cursed, so there's no way this podcast is cursed.
I think I don't know. I don't think it's a super interesting ending, but it's like fun to look at. It's like I like it. Going into the opening, like pretty, and just as a as an audio visual medium of like artistic work, it is an interesting thing to see and look at, and that's like a nice fun like little way to end it. This climactic moment, it just ends. I don't think it super well. I just watched it today. I don't know if it's gonna like super stick with me as like a thing that opens up the possibility space. It just seems like mostly, regardless, like, hey, it's a happy ending, which is fine.
It's like on one hand it's a happy ending, which is kind of neat. I mean, I feel like I wouldn't want like a bad ending for the show, but like there's a bit of sweetness to it, a bit. There's also a bit of like a weirdness to it. I think is like it makes it like at least unique, and I think I appreciate that more than if it was just like and the day was saved and it's all fine and it's all good and it's especially the way that like they really were like building especially in the finale, just like this could be it, and we're saying
Yeah.
goodbye. I feel like the fact they went through the effort and it was like we don't get to see like the other side of that is like more meaningful than if like they just showed up as like, hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I appreciate how unique the ending is because there's a million other like mecha like this that are also just they go through the beats and yeah, you either have the ending where they die or they get the happy ending and it's resolved. And it's like the fact that they get weird with it in that sort of like real existential sci-fi way really does like give it a bit of a voice of its own.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I like when Kay and Olsen in their mechs do the Predator handshake.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's at least one good thing Super Robot Wars took over
Yeah.
with Ken and Orson.
Wait, his name is Orson in Robot Wars?
Yeah. Orson Welles, the famous.
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's Orguss. That's the whole series. Sanga, you kind of already said a little bit about you liking it on the whole, despite some problematic stuff. What do you think it compares to maybe for you some of the other Super Dimension stuff? Where if you were ranking them,
It's probably below Macross and Southern Cross just because it's deeply problematic, but I still really like it a lot. Like, there's nothing quite like it, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine, basically.
I'm hoping I end up liking Southern Cross because I feel like if it was just like if this was weaker than Orguss, I'd be like, well, rip. I guess.
Yeah, because you guys are going to do like 2 episodes a week, or no, 1 episode a week for that.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
I mean, not me, but
Yeah,
it's
it's
in
my burden to bear unless Mel comes in on a guest at some point when Manny gets back.
that said, I am glad that you've watched Orguss now because it's going to be in conversation with Moss Peter. Yeah, because Moss Peter's like a very similar show. In fact, a lot of people who worked on Orguss also worked on Moss Peter. And also Moss Peter starts airing like midway through when Orguss is airing. So like Orguss airs from like July 3rd, 1983 till April 1984. And Moss Peter's original run is like October 1983 till March 1984. So yeah,
I did see that like because we did a bit of production history stuff in episode 1 of this where like I did see that like Tatsunoko passed on doing Orguss because they were doing Moss Peter instead, and like Moss Peter actually predates Southern Cross, which is funny despite the way the Robotech the stuff plays out. But I didn't know there was like actual like staff crossover to that original Orguss.
Yeah.
So Moss Peter.
Like there's a lot of animators and stuff actually end up on Moss Peter when they finish production on Orguss. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the context for this was that like I was doing Orguss anyway because I was like, well, I'll do the other Super Dimension stuff because Shane is doing Macross and then I'll Southern Cross, and then this opportunity to do it as like a mini series thing because of the break presented itself. Whereas before I was just gonna be like, I'll be the Orguss Whisperer when I'm a guest or something. And so now we sort of have like the missing link all accounted for on this podcast.
Yeah.
Not my podcast though, but it's just a weird outlier.
Yeah.
Mel, what was your final thoughts over on Orguss as a show? So pretty high. What do you think?
Higher than you, Shane, for sure. I think safe to say. I don't know. It's definitely a mixed bag. I do agree with like my previous statement that I was reminded of, which is we're back, it's over kind of thing. Like, and there's a lot of like when it's not those points, it can also just be like it's kind of whatever. Like a lot of like I'm just waiting for this shit to over. There's like cool ideas. It's also frustrating process. Like, why would you do this?
Yeah.
And it's messy. I wish they took advantage of the setting to do more episodic stuff because it got like way too serialized and maybe even more than it need to be. Especially with the way it was just like introducing the plot points that resolve really fast.
It's like with how fast they wrap up, they could have like fit in a few more episodic contained episodes where they get to see like some cool new places or something. Yeah.
And just like the cast was fun, but like I definitely don't like any of them as much as the Macross cast. Like fucking Max Genius, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Force of Macross 7.
Yeah.
Great. but depending on how like Southern Cross goes, it'll be kind of like it is kind of a bit like apparent, like, oh, there's a reason that like Super Dimension as a series didn't happen, and like Cross became its own franchise instead. Because like I think it definitely it's because I have to revisit it, and I didn't revisit it for your podcast, Shane, but like I'd have to revisit it. But I feel my feelings of Macross when I watched it while going back through the GGP backlog was that like I was like the first 20 episodes are like a 10 out of 10, and then like I could take or leave those last 10 episodes, but like still overall I really like Macross. And whereas this I'm like, this is a real like I think in the first batch I said like maybe this will be a 7 out of 10. I think like I feel after coming out the other end I'm like, hey, it's a 6. It's a 6. I feel like I can't really justify it to 7. Because I feel like it's like it is a bit too mid for me to give it a 7 even. And like there's the fraught stuff. Even at its highs, I'm like, if they're cool ideas, but like it doesn't mean they're executing them well. And it's just very strange.
Yeah.
And I like the OP a lot. And I don't know why they did that for the ED.
Oh man, it is a crime, like in general, and it's also a crime that it's a massive earworm too.
Yeah, it's like it's the sad thing. The worst part, it's actually catchy. Like it's a song I can listen to, and I have to like when I listen to it, I have to like pretend I don't hear the slurs that are like most of the actual
like 90% of the song.
Yeah,
so.
like the lyrics are just like beep 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 beep.
Yep.
I'm a beep.
Yep. Lie, 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 lie.
I remember telling Jackson about this in the server because they were like, "Oh yeah, it just has one of the best OPs." I was like, "Yeah, the ED is really racist though," and they went and saw it immediately, and it was like, "Oh my goodness!" Because like frame one, you just see like the paraphernalia of like the crystal ball and like the beads, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, like there's a lot of parallels to be drawn there regarding like the merchant caravan and like the Romani sort of influences in like the show as well, but like you don't have the slur.
Yeah, and like, I mean, I guess if you're Japanese, you wouldn't know, but also the person singing the song is like an American who moved to Japan.
Oh man, like
the singer of the Orguss OP and ED was like a Vietnam War vet who like moved to Japan.
Yeah, that word as a slur is not very well understood in America, from my understanding. At least I don't have any big backing for that, but most people.
I mean, like you said, they say it in The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's just in Disney movies.
They literally say it in fucking Kingdom Hearts. That word comes out.
And like that's like even like that's one of the '90s movies, right? Like The Hunchback of Notre Dame is like a Disney Renaissance movie, right?
Well, I mean, to be fair to The Hunchback of Notre Dame, it is using it like in context specifically about
I guess
oppression of the Romani people.
Yeah, I guess the guy saying it is the kind of guy who would say it in real life.
Yeah, like you could argue if it's like a good
why would you say it in Kingdom Hearts?
But it's not that they're saying it randomly. The usage in Kingdom Hearts is not quite so. They probably could have been fine with not saying it in Kingdom Hearts. But in the movie, it's I think I understand that decision.
Yeah,
made with like some gravitas. Overall, the show I just frustrating a little bit. Like doesn't look great. I like a few of the characters. I ended up, I think, liking Kay by the end of it.
Yeah, he's a interesting fella.
Yeah, I think he's likable.
I like that he's not just Hikaru again.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah.
I mean, John is also with them, partly because he's a girl, which is nice too.
I don't love the serialized plot. I think it moves incredibly slowly. Is the thing. Like so little happens episode to episode. Like so I'd be surprised like after an episode finished, oh, that's it, like nothing happens. It takes 2 episodes of them to have a talk about having a peace treaty.
Like
this is not a show about like having interesting political talks. It's just like how slowly shit happens.
The political talk is that there is a military faction and an economic faction, as if these are 2 separate things. Which is I think is like a common understanding of things and like liberal Western understandings of things, but it's all it's not how the world actually works.
Marx is by reading a book about the economy once in a while.
It is pretty funny though. We get a map in episode 30 that shows like the factions' locations, and Chiram is just like the United States. So
that makes sense.
I think Amman is in India, And then,
yeah, I think it was like India or Thailand. Despite the fact they're all
Yeah.
white,
uh,
I don't think there's like brown people in the show.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
very,
I
very
think
white.
that's more to
Very-
do with like just the times and animation and that. So yeah.
Southern Cross has Bowie at least.
Oh, I love Bowie.
Yeah.
Bowie's great.
I don't know him yet, but it's like they could have people of color there if they wanted to for this one.
Berserk
Yeah.
has people of color in like its medieval fantasy world.
Yes.
Which is
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I like just not like a few fun characters. I'm always gonna remember Whom, and I'm always gonna remember Lieutenant.
Yeah.
I just the plot moves glacially slowly. The character moments are kind of few and far between. Nothing gets the right times it should. And many of the plot threads across the show and like even episode to episode
Yeah.
are unceremoniously dropped. They don't have anything
Yeah, like
to do with anything. I think
do
it's a
think
bummer. I don't know.
I do think I was highest on it after the first batch because like the first batch had like the grape forest episode and like the France episode, and they got like a weird episode with like the barbarians, and it's like, oh, there's like
Yeah.
weird, like it shows like the weird diversity of the world.
Yeah.
And
the
like
France episodes are so good.
and then like second batch is like mostly like Athena that is introduced, and I like Athena, but like the plot like locks in as soon as like Athena and Olsen become like major players, because like it only becomes about this thing. Like there isn't really much doing other stuff.
Yeah,
And
it kind of
also
just turns into like a chase show at that point. They're kind of just being harassed by various Chiram, Aman,
Yeah,
and
I mean, don't worry about that because
factions.
like it's like, well, about Space Battleship Yamato was there for all the eyes to see it, but
yeah,
and
and that's even like a Gundam thing as well. Like,
yeah, it's a
white bases here. Yeah,
it's a Yamato thing, which became a Gundam thing and also an Ideon thing, and they did it in Macross, and they did it in here again.
Yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
that's fine. That's like a good framework for when you want to travel to different places and show it off. And like they started doing that, and it was really cool.
Yeah,
But
like
then like the less they did it, it just kind of peters out.
because like I said, like there's 100 worlds all smacked together, and we got to see like 4 of them.
Yeah.
What
was it? We got to see Atlantean, which is the weird Polynesian one at the start. We got to see Paris.
We got to see Paris. We got to see
Aman. We got to see Chiram. A little bit of the Mu. So that's 5. I suppose there was that canyon full of like the weird Viking guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Weird Viking Guy Canyon.
We got like Jabby's at Homeland.
Yeah. So there's 7. Just the fact that we can count them on like fingers is probably a bit of a giveaway as to like how they kind of dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, there's like one like kind of European town they did merchant stuff with in this batch, but otherwise,
Yeah. I wish I liked it more. Just
Me too.
It is a little rude to compare because Macross like one of the most influential, like powerful anime shows of all time. And like this is just
created Macross 7, which is an all-time banger.
Yeah.
And like Orguss is I'm kind of amazed it's even got the 10-year later OVA. That's kind of amazing to me that exists.
I heard.
I'm curious.
I don't know if it's hearsay, but I heard people like that more? ?
Interesting.
At least in the Realm Mapping server. I don't know what the popular is.
It's just I mean a little unfair. I think like maybe even by kind of the standards of these sort of shows, it's a little bit weaker as comparing it to the Gundams. But it's it's not like a complete dog shit, right? There's a lot of like redeeming factors about it that we mentioned there. And I do like the found family aspect which it goes in. I just wish it locked in a little bit harder. And it seems like honestly, like maybe a bit of a production mess from my understanding. It was canceled, right? Was that it? Like it was originally supposed to have a longer period of episode got shut down. Is that right, Mel?
I think so, maybe. Like it wasn't doing so well compared to Macross.
And it clearly was not getting the same money put into it either. So like that combination of not having the initial resources and then like having your number of episodes put down, like you're having to restructure everything to fit. Like sometimes you make that work. Like First Gundam has a really just good ending there, and how that like
same with Gundam X. Like those are the two that are like they locked in after their episode got cut down for the better.
This show not locking in. They have a whole episode where Kay gets mad and they run after him for half the episode and he comes back and everyone's happy. Just not it's not there.
Yeah, and that
Um,
could explain like a lot of the rushed elements where there's suddenly like a lot of plot points that just instantly resolve too, because I imagine they probably expected to have a longer runtime to actually flesh those out a bit more.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Any other final thoughts before we say goodbye?
I'm glad we did it at least.
Yeah.
Like it was something I wanted to do anyway, and also it feels like it feels weird to say this about your own podcast, but it does feel like it makes your podcast a bit more complete to have this.
Yeah.
Because it's like the missing link between like two of like the seasons in Robotech.
Can make
Yeah.
Manny so mad by talking about. Well, I'm the thing is like Manny would just be more mad whenever I mention like some random dipshit from Robotech than he would if I mentioned K from
I need
the
to
show.
talk about how when I first got added to the server record again, I saw Ken Sato Memorial General and did not know because I think I tuned out that part of the podcast where we talk about the comics. Where I was like, oh, I didn't know this is a Robotech character. Well, I
How
was
dare
like,
you? You can say you can tune out of episode 34 of Orguss, but tuning out of the podcast on the podcast.
listen, it's fine. This is half my podcast somehow. But I saw it and I was like, damn, I didn't know you guys liked Ultimate Rising so much.
Corporal Ken Sato was a destroyed pilot aboard the Daedalus. He worked with the first generation destroyed Tomahawk aboard the SDF-1 during the battle purchases for its home. 2 of his teams were killed in action. He was assigned as an advisor to Dr. Helen Lee's research team to fix the destroids. When the SDF-1 returned home, he rescued a fellow pilot from the water. As a CO, Chris Hillary was killed as part of his team. Another pilot blamed him for his death and fought him in the destroids, although both craft were disabled in the end. The end.
I think you'll find that Ken Sato is the protagonist of Ultraman Rising. He's a star player in American baseball and is the human host of Ultraman. His real name is Kenji Sato.
Maybe one day he'll become as culturally relevant as the protagonist of Robotech Macross Missions.
I think that has already happened.
We'll see. All the kids at Robotech Con, they're wearing like their bring back every kid at Robotech convention. They're screaming at how their lungs bring back Ken Sato. People they can't even get through their NFT promotion or whatever, their protein powder without bringing them up.
Now, are those the comics where they ran out of ink toner and we ended up with like the weird little like chibi robot sketches at the end?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
I immediately destroys my own point for you to ask me to actually remember what happens in one of those. Beyond the joke. Shout out to Dumb Robotech Comics. I can't wait to make Manny read more of those at some point. No, I agree. I think it's nice as a like point of reference for me to see like what else is going on. Sanga, what do you think the Robotech version would have been like for this? What would have been the main change?
Oh god. Well, yeah, it would definitely ramp up like the sexism and gender and misogyny way more. There would be a lot more of Olsen basically just like laying into Athena at every opportunity.
It would not include global warming in any capacity.
No, wouldn't include global warming.
I don't think global warming was like a politicized issue in the same way back when Robotech was airing, was it? Right?
I don't know.
I mean,
I think all that stuff would have got through. I think the stuff that would have been changed is like I think they would have made Athena more girl bossy is probably the main thing. They would have like made what they would have like made K probably a more traditional hero guy too. So maybe a little less necking, or like having the necking, probably changing Mimsy's reactions to it. I bet is how they would get around that.
They would have made him Italian, so him kissing girls is just platonic.
Oh man, I imagine they'd make Slay way more insufferable as well, just like to contrast him as.
Hold on,
they could do it. They could definitely do it. This is Robotech we're talking about. Like...
No, I'll go to bat for Robotech here. I don't think you could make Slay more annoying. I think like in Macross, they make some characters more annoying, but it's not like. I don't think like Robotech Kai-Food Kyle is like significantly more annoying than Kai-Food. If anything, like he's a worse person, but I don't know if like more annoying is the word I would use.
Here's
definitely a worse person.
Here's the problem with Orguss is it doesn't have a moment as good as the Zentradi like hacking into the Macross and then getting footage of Shao Pylon and thinking it's real.
Yeah, I I get so much more excited thinking about Macross than I do thinking about Orguss. That's the main thing.
Yeah, there's a lot
Yeah.
more to get said about Macross.
Look, it's a coughing baby and a hydrogen bomb. It's like
Yeah.
it's an unfair comparison. Like
Yeah.
Macross has like Max Genius in his like Gerwalk variable fighter wearing a Zentradi uniform to infiltrate the Zentradi like mothership. It's just you can't compare it. It's unfair.
And then his wife chucks the baby.
Yeah.
Bless.
Yeah, catch.
So much cooler than
okay.
the green hair ladies. Not even close.
What is it? Zentradi kids is just built tough. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have put singing in this. Maybe that would have fixed it. Some more songs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Sanga, for coming on in and being a guest. We really appreciate
No worries.
having you on here. It's been awesome.
I had a grouse time. Yeah.
Oh, great. Have any stuff to plug? You got your game. If any of you out there want to be a new idea person for Sanga, please message them on Discord. Tell them all their ideas, and Sanga will make it reality. Yeah.
Or you can yell at me on Blue Sky at Jason Prentice. So that'll work.
I will find you on Blue Sky right now.
I never update. I mainly lurk and just look at everyone's art. So if you follow me, I'll probably follow you back. It's fine. Yeah.
All right. And Mel, tell us again where people can find you and your podcast.
Hi. You can find me at Dear Crowns on Twitter and Blue Sky, and of course, if you're not hearing this already on that feed, you can find my Ultraman podcast / Ultra Series podcast, because there's other stuff that's in Ultraman. Ultra Q, that's Ultra QUEUE. There's the Twitter Ultra Q, that's at Ultra_Q, the same words. You can find us there. Also, there's Blue Sky without that underscore, because But yeah, we're back. We're back from our break. We're in like early goings of Taro, and also for weird making the numbers work for us. We've also been watching early on the first 2 Guyver movies, which are the only ones that exist, the American ones.
Nice.
Yeah,
those are the ones with Mark Hamill in them, aren't they?
Yes.
One of them.
The episode we put out last week at the time of recording is the one on the first one, which is a more kiddie tone. And then this Sunday we'll be recording the one for the second Guyver movie, which is more tone accurate to the manga. The episode that's about to go out as the time of recording has no movie, but it's Taro episode. But also you'll be getting this like way after. You'll probably get this like after we've already put out the Guyver movies. So
so might be Guyver 2. I listened to your Guyver 1 discussion. I'm glad you all liked it. That's a movie I really like.
It's a ridiculous movie that's fun and dumb.
It's so much fun. And
the special
the
effects are so
puppetry
good.
in it is real good. Yeah.
Did either of you get the joke with the Dr. East bit?
No, I didn't. I think I forgot.
So that person is played by my favorite actor, Jeffrey Combs, who one of his most famous roles is the main character in hit horror film Reanimator, where he plays a character called Dr. Herbert West.
That's so cheeky.
He's Dr. East.
That rules.
Guyver.
That's real good.
I did see that Reanimator people did work on that movie.
Great movie.
And to be honest, I'm not a big horror person, so I want to check it out. But I mostly know about Reanimator because like Giant Robot FM did like their series on Robot Jocks, and they talked about that in particular.
Great. Love Jeffrey Combs. I'm not as much a big fan of Guyver 2. I think a little bit like do more traditional stuff. Guyver 1 was not a movie that anyone would go out of their way to make. Kind of the opposite of an Orguss, where production problems end up making a completely original.
Yeah, like it's a movie where like they were adapting like a real like serious manga, and like because of budget constraints, they try to split the difference between like the actual like R-rated aspects and like going for a PG-13 rating to get like more people, I guess.
Yeah. The thing with the Guyver comic is that it's very boring also. So the more you stray away from that, the better you're actually doing is the secret.
Okay. I was curious because there's like a 12 episode OVA, and then like in the mid-aughts there's like a 26 episode TV series.
Yeah. I've checked both of those out. They adhere closely and therefore are quite boring. Some of the art's like cool, but it's like there's better stuff you could do out there.
Presumably I could just watch like actual Toku and have a better time.
Yes, absolutely, 1000%. even not too much like well, you just want to watch Garo, right? That's what you're in for. If you just like want to watch the edgy 14-year-old Toku.
Yeah, I should watch more Garo.
Garo's cool.
I haven't seen a lot of Garo. I've seen like an anime and like Versus Road, which is like mostly not Garo in terms of its content, but it was cool.
Yeah, my name is Shane, as always. If you know from the podcast, I do this podcast here with Manny, who's hopefully going to be in a position to be able to continue pretty soon. We're still friends, as far as I know. Planning to actually visit him in person very, very shortly again, which is nice. So that'll be exciting. I don't think we're going to do like a travelogue. It's not exactly content, unless we decide to play a Robotech board game and record that. God forbid. But yeah, check us out here. Do you remember Robotech? Cool little podcast. And also, me and Mel are going to do our after finale by watching the 6-episode OVA called Cho Jiku Sekai Orguss 02.
Yeah,
which came out in 1990s. So that'll be exciting.
6 episodes, which I don't have to watch as many.
Oh yes, thank God. So that'll be out when it's out, in the words of our Lord Linkara. But if you have any questions, always feel free to email us regarding this podcast. Lisa,
I presume we didn't get any Orguss emails.
No, people just
send them all to me. I'll be your Orguss correspondent. I'll filter that out. It's fine.
just send us a bunch of anonymous emails. We'd appreciate it. Nothing there, but yeah, if you do have anything, do you remember Robotech at gmail.com? You can contact us there. And I hope and thanks for watching, and thanks both of you for being here and talking.
Yeah,
no worries, anytime.
Thank you, Sanga.
Yeah. Hey,
thank you for having me, Shane. Even though there's also on my feed. It's definitely more your podcast, and I'm technically just putting it on my feed.
Yeah. I feel the more the merrier. Real quick, Sanga, what's your favorite isekai? Do you have one? Do you have one of those that you like?
Oh, I mean, now it's probably Dunbine, because Dunbine's just really good. But like, I haven't watched much isekai. I've definitely watched a lot of bad isekai.
Yeah, that's more. I don't care about Dunbine. I want like a bad traditional isekai that you like.
Oh man, I probably like Konosuba, just because the comedy in that's pretty funny.
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah, I wouldn't call it a good show though. Yeah.
All right. Well, that may inspire what the audience is hearing right now. Thanks again so much, and goodbye. It's organ time. It's freaking organ time.